Hey guys, it's Denny here from Angel Handmade Papercraft. Today I am working with Whimsy Stamp's King Lion. I'm colouring him up using Copic markers and let's get started. So I've printed him out onto Mondi Colour Copy 250 GSM on my Brother laser printer, and I am starting with his mane. So today I am using YR21, YR24 and YR27. I had so much fun colouring up his mane on this image. It's just adorable and colours up absolutely perfect. I even surprised myself on this one. I love it. So I'm just working my way through, just adding down a layer of the lightest colour, the YR21, and then I will go back to the darkest marker and then go darkest to lightest. So it's just a very, very quick lay down of colour. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the way that I work it. I like to moisten the paper up first before I colour up too much. It just makes the Copics blend that little bit easier. So as you can see, I'm just doing a very, very rough colouring. It doesn't need to be perfect. Sorry guys, I haven't turned my phone off. Alright, so just doing the tail as well before I forget, and then I will work my way through. So now I'm going into the YR27 marker. In the background there I was just giving the end of my marker a quick clean. Sometimes the build up of the ink inside the lid just makes it all sticky and yuck. So I'm just working my way through from the outside, just doing a quick flicking motion towards the center. I will move my image around. I do prefer to flick away from myself depending on the area that I am doing. So just trying to keep my marker up straight as possible makes it easier to get those flicking motions in. So doing all one way to start with, and then I will slowly start turning my image around. The problem with doing the straight up and down is that you obviously can't see what I'm doing because the camera is straight over the top of my head. So you will see in little sections, just working out, making sure that I'm doing the right areas. Carefully working my way around. Doing the hair on the inner of his ears there. All the hair underneath his crown and his little fringe. And now doing the top of his hair. I absolutely adore this image. It is coming out very soon. You guys won't know that yet because this video won't go live until the release has become available. So this is part of the August 2018 Whimsy Stamps digital release. And I'm sure that they will make great sales from this image because it is absolutely adorable. I actually had a design in mind for this image. My stepdaughter had asked me if I could make a card for her little brother. Not one of ours. His mom had another little baby after her and my now husband had split up. So Abby asked me if I could make a little card for him. So and that was the design plan for this one. Once I was in the middle of colouring, she decided to start putting her orders in. So he is turning 3 this year. So later on when I get to the design process, and you would have seen in the photos at the start of this recording that it did have a number 3 on it. I was planning to put his name on it as well, but it was too much on the card, so I decided not to do it. So that's where it is at. So I have gone through all of my markers and gone step by step to get all of those in, and now I'm going to colour his face. So for his face I'm using some light brown skin kind of tones. I'm using E30, E31, E35 and E37. So I am using quite a few different colours. I did want a little bit of darkness within his face, but not overbearing. So I didn't use much of the E37, just enough to blend it out and give him that little tone. At this stage, I hadn't planned on using the E37. That's why I'm starting with the E35. And then I realized that I did want to go just a tad a little bit darker. So I will bring it back in and fix up those areas. So as always, I did lay down the lightest colour first, and then I'm going darkest to lightest, except that I will add that E37 marker in once I realise that I want to go a little bit darker. Just working my way through. I'm now going in with the E31 marker, slowly pulling that colour into the image and blending out the colours that I have already laid down. And down to the E30 marker, I'm pulling those colours out completely into the image now and blending them all out, making sure that they've got a nice smooth blend. Moving on to his face. I did do the little, like the smaller areas first, just while I was playing, because that was so small. So doing the ears and the bottom of his mouth, and then I'll go in and do the rest of his face. Just working my way around, popping in all of what would be the darkest of the areas. Just working my way through, pulling all the colour out that I've already laid down. I'm sure I went back in with that E37 marker. Maybe I didn't after all, and I just wrote it down. Oh, that's right. That was for the nose. That's why I had the E37, guys. I didn't use the E37 on his skin. I've just realised where that came from. So that was the E37 marker here. So I'm using E35 and E37 to do his little nose. So that's his mane and his skin, and now I'm going on to work on the crown. So I'm using some red markers to get him some red rubies in his crown. I'm using R05, R35 and R37 for those. Just very gently blending those out. I was still tossing up on what I was going to do with the crown, but I still decided that I was going to give him a gold crown. So what I've done is, just to break it up from the mane a little bit, I've tried to add in some of the brown tone, just to make it that little bit darker and make it, yeah, a little bit more intense and stand off from his head. So I'm using the E37, YR27, YR24, and I think I added some of the YR21 in as well. So this actually blends really nicely with that dark brown colour. It just gives it, like I already said, a little bit of definition off the image. So just carefully blending those out there, making sure that I'm not picking up any of that red from the red rubies, because it will bleed and it will pull that colour out into it. Alright, so that is pretty much me done, I think. So I've really enjoyed having you guys here taking part and watching me colour him up. And then now I'm going to quickly pop this card together. It was actually quite quick. So I've grabbed some Frenchville Craft cardstock, added a layer of that down, then popped a piece of white American Crafts cardstock, and then a piece of yellow Papercraft cheddar cardstock. So that was the 3 layers, and I did mention earlier that I was looking at popping his name onto the side of the card, but I decided not to go ahead with it. But I just wanted to show you guys that I was playing with it. I think the difficulty was because it was such a big name, it was too much. So I decided not to put it on. Thought the kids are going to write inside the card anyway, so they can pop his name inside the card. So I did trim that image up slightly. And I found some patterned papers, came from, did I write that down? No, I didn't. I think they were just some scraps from my little bin that I keep next to me. I pop all of my offcuts and things into there. So I've layered a doily underneath as well from my stash. You guys know I love my doilies. And then I will carefully start adhering all of these layers using my Scotch ATG gun. One layer after another. Popping my doily down as well. When I adhere my doilies, I always use American Tombow Mono Multi Glue. I have a habit sometimes of using my Scotch ATG gun, and because the doilies are so thin, it just rips them. So I try to remind myself every time I pick them up, make sure you use liquid adhesive and not tape runner. So just using a couple of offcuts here. I've cut them to size using my Caterpillar Pro, and now just trying to work out what I'm going to do with the image and whereabouts I'm going to add the number. So I'm just using some more of that liquid adhesive for the number because it's so small, popping it to the right hand side of the image, and then I'm going to use my Scotch ATG gun to adhere everything down to the craft base that I've cut already. And still having a play here. What am I going to do? Like I said, I don't actually end up using all of all of these letters. I'm actually going to cut a piece of my favorite things border die. I actually don't have the packaging for this, so I'm not sure the exact name of it, but I just used some of the leftovers from that craft cardstock and laid it underneath the left hand side of that image. The other thing that you don't see on the video that you would have seen on the image at the start of the video was that I cut a little bit of grassy fields grass and I adhered that along the front of the image. Sorry guys, I've just bumped it off screen. So I was actually playing with a piece of craft in the grass but decided not to go with it. So that is my image today. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and please go and check out all of the new releases at the Whimsy Stamps shop, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!